Star Wars only. Was it Star Wars only? I don't know. I've just been watching a couple of different videos this morning. It was either Star Wars only or World Class Bullshitters. Two of the last videos on YouTube that I watched about the Star Wars thing, about the state of the Empire at the moment. I'm hearing multiple different takes on what's going on. One of them is that there's no plan. That Disney doesn't seem to have a plan, and they didn't have a plan. And when fucking Lucas sold them the franchise, uh, their plan was just milk this shit. Um, I don't know if that's their plan. I don't think that they don't have a plan. I'm not saying they do have a plan, but if you look at it, if you look at the events as they're transpiring, the context and the sequence, they could have a plan. They could very well have a plan. There could be like someone or two or three people in there that do have a plan, even though the rest maybe don't. A plan is identifiable. Whether it's identifiable by anybody in there or not, I don't know. How can you tell? How would you ever be able to tell? Uh, the attack on the Yavin base is the most obvious yet. It's an attack on the fucking timeline, the Star Wars timeline. I have recently found out is based around the 0 point for that timeline is the Battle of Yavin. The Death Star failed to blow up Yavin base, so Disney Lucasfilm is making noises that it wants to come back in Episode 9 and do what the Death Star failed to do. Destroy the Rebels' base. Like, this is a historic base. And there's chat that they want to come and fucking destroy it. Like, I don't know. Is this trolling? Are JJ and the boys trolling? I could see that. Like, it's from what I know about these kind of people, yeah, that's totally fucking the kind of shit that they do, talking about. Whether they do it or whether they actually go ahead and do it or not is something different. That's another level. That's another level up. For being just a kind of one of these guys to being what you might call an SJW, like active duty, fucking, where you've gone and put your thoughts and words into actions. So we're kind of at a point now where the trench run, right? Which I had to go and look at, watch the clips from A New Hope yesterday to refamiliarize myself with these scenes and the events. The trench run and all that jazz took place while the Death Star was trying to get into position. It was trying to acquire a line of sight onto Yavin base. There was X amount of time. I don't know how much time they had. How much time do we have? No, I mean, what are we talking about? 12, 18 months? I don't know when it's supposed. Oh yeah, Christmas next year. So yeah, 18 months, just under 18 months. So it's like this scene in A New Hope unfolding in slow motion. We have 18 months until the Death Star is in range. It's it's already in range because they have the fucking studios and they have the money and they have the rights to go and write whatever they want. So whatever happens in that movie, whatever happens to Yavin base, will be done long before, obviously, it hits the screens. But it won't have the impact. Contact won't be made. The impact won't be had until it's released. So the plans for the Death Star have already been stolen, because it's like, if we see that now, it's like we see the Death Star and we get it that it's clear, its positioning, its trajectory, its fucking angular momentum, the electromagnetic readings coming from it all indicate that it is its target is Yavin Base. Now, I need to fucking chill. I need to come down. I'm trying to search for this line here. Yeah, it's up to those who associate themselves with Yavin Base to respond. The Death Star, or the plans to the Death Star, if they haven't already been stolen, they need to be stolen. The little fucking quirk, the little exhaust porthole quirk that Jyn Erso's father designed into the system already has to be in place. And then the trench run has to happen. And all the other shit. So it's like there's 18 months, because the Death Star was blown up with seconds left to go. They powered up their weapon. So it's like having powered up a release date, you know? And it was seconds to the end, so what are we talking? What's seconds if you extrude out the timeline to our timeline, where I don't know how many minutes went by before the first indications that the Death Star wanted to hit Yavin Base, and the eventuality where the boys press the button and try to fire the weapon. What would that be, like half an hour? In reality, 15 minutes? How long would it take? Just drew that out to 18 months. Basically, I don't know, are the boys just being kind of smart and engaging and talking about this? Because a lot of shit gets said that never transpires. And like, people fly kites and all this kind of stuff. But my reading on this, and I'm not a fucking fanboy, I'm not a fan. I'm only learning. I saw the movies when I was a kid, alright, and I had some of the toys and all, and it was always there in the background. But I was more Star Trek for whenever really I was never really into sci-fi that much. Only Star Wars Next Generation. But Star Wars was always like, I watch all the movies. Like, Star Wars was always there. Star Wars was like the granddaddy of all that. Like, as I said before, Star Trek kind of to me was like what we wanted the world to be, where Star Wars was what the world actually was. So it was like a granddad. It was like a grandparent, like a Yoda. Star Wars was like Yoda or Obi-Wan. Like, Star Wars was kind of show up every now and again, and then kind of went into Force Ghost mode or whatever. Like, it wasn't like hanging around with me for any time really after the fucking between the time when I saw the OT when I was a kid and the prequels then whenever they come out when I was a fucking teenager or I was in college or whatever. So my angle on Star Wars is kind of from the outside, and this is what I see. I see credible threat. I see a credible threat. An attack, like, depending on whether it happens or not, And I don't know about reasoning. Like, it's not about intent. I don't know what their intent is. How would I ever know what their intent is? Even if you can gather information and higher resolution information, you'll never really know. But all the elements are in place for me to highly suggest that this could be a cynical move. This could be bad-mindedness, proper bad-mindedness. Because after all the fucking shit, after what they did to Han, Leia, Luke, fucking Akbar, Finn, Poe, everybody, even Rey, Kylo, after what they did to everybody, why would they fucking not do that again? I don't think they have. I mean, even Tico, she was shit. Like, that move, bumping Finn out of the way and then giving him that kiss, as Abu Naz goes, what does he do? He does much better one. Like, that wasn't fucking. She didn't get any points for that. Not among the people who didn't go see Solo. The people who cost Disney between $80 and $150 million. It's not like all the OT OGs got disrespected, but the new crew were elevated. Nobody was elevated. They were all fucked. Rey had great potential in TFA, I thought. I was really psyched. I even opened a parody account in support of Rey on Twitter. I love Rey. But The Last Jedi was like, you're making it unreasonable to continue to love this character. Finn, Poe, Luke was lost as soon as he threw the fucking lightsaber over his shoulder, because I knew what that was. I knew the processes, the neurological processes behind that scene. It's a standard, it's a boilerplate hipster response. And the intent, the idea that they're going to hit and wipe out Yavin Base is also a boilerplate hipster fucking response, but it's got SJW level magnitude, because it's potentially very damaging. They're going for the timeline, whether they're doing it on purpose or not, or whether they know they're doing it or not. It's not that I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, but I'm gonna reside and park myself in neutral in that place that we call the benefit of the doubt. But it's more about that I'm not bothered trying to ascribe intent or blame or anything like that right now, because it's too much to do. It's fucking take your mind off the ball that way. And maybe that's what it's about. Maybe all this other fucking character fucking, like, this stuff about bringing Leia, keeping Leia, I don't think it's gotten out. Like, people seem to be in support of this. People like Stephanie Janicek. I keep screwing up her name. I'm so sorry, Stephanie. People like Stephanie Janicek, Jeremy, like all the fucking dudes, most of them seem somewhere between happy and nonplussed about Carrie's footage being used in TFA, but it was world-class bullshitters. The only dudes that I seen that has the same fucking take on this that I do, which is, this is muck. This is just disrespectful. I don't know if he used the word disrespectful, but the way I interpreted what he said most recently on the topic was along those lines. Oh yeah, what he said is, we're always going to know that this footage was not intended for this movie. We're always going to know that it was just fucking, repurposed TFA footage. We're always going to know this was Disney Lucasfilm at its most desperate. Exactly, we're always going to know. The chain of custody of evidence has been broken. The transaction that we require to sustain suspension of disbelief has been broken. When you take people out of the story, and they've done that multiple times in The Last Jedi. Canto Bight was a half-hour fucking, they made sure they took you out of the story. When you take, and again, I'm not saying this not intentional, because these people are smart, but I don't know, are they really fucking stupid, as in, like, they're gone so far down their line of logic that they think this is a good idea, but it's actually a fucking terrible idea? Or do they know it's a terrible idea, but and that's why they're doing it, because it's tactical? I don't know, I'm 50-50 at the moment. Are they being tactical, or are they so fucking gone down their line of logic that everything they do in the name of progress is coherent and induces a multiplier effect on what not to do, and just fucks it up more and more? We'll see. But so I think this is gonna pop. They haven't, the fandom leader beings haven't gotten their heads around this yet, but I think they usually do. I think it might take a little time to percolate, but it'll come out that they're like, and maybe it'll be in the context of something else, maybe even the fucking Yavin base thing. They'll be like, actually, do you know what? Fuck this. This is disrespectful to fucking, this is the worst thing they could do. So, it's almost like gaslighting or concern trolling. Like, they hit it, short selling. Like, they hit it on the way up and they hit it on the way down. They brought everybody back for the Force Awakens, got everybody's spirits up, pretended that they were being fucking nice and good. First signs came when fucking Han and Leia were fucking divorced or whatever. Han killed. Luke didn't appear till the end, but that was fucking brilliant. I love that. Last Jedi knocked it all down. They built up your spirits to knock you down. This is fucking classic abuse. Like, this is the shit that goes on in abusive relationships. Be it like romantic relationships or family relationships or professional relationships. This is fucking boilerplate. Now, again, I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, because the way these fuckers grew up, the way these people run themselves in the social circles, and the way they think, this is standard. This is par for the course behavior. Look at James Gunn. Look at all his fucking chat. Like, I didn't see his what he was saying, like, about people who were baddies, but I hear that he was saying a lot of things about people who were baddies, and then people go fucking digging into his shit, and it's like, looks like we're not the only baddies around here. And then Rian Johnson goes and reads 20,000 tweets off the back of that. When you grow up in this kind of weird fucking, who am I to say weird? I'm the weirdest fucker out there. We grew up in the world that they grew up in, and I seen it. I brushed off it, but I wouldn't get into it. I had no career because, first of all, I wouldn't go in, and then second of all, I couldn't get in. I wouldn't go in that deep in architecture. It just didn't suit me. It's not me. Then I tried to get in the space sector, but I couldn't. It's just not me. Like, I'm not suitable for these the environments that these people populate and require in order to sustain themselves. Their own little ecosystems. It's their ecosystems. I never belonged in there. But I know, I seen them, and the reason I'm so sensitive to them is because I'm kind of like their opposite or their conjugate. Like, I'm very sensitive to them because we're like counter-rotating fields to each other. And I've been friends, and I still am friends with some of these people, but the luster has worn off over the years. So what I'm saying is, the way these people behave, the logic that these people seem to run on is 100%. It's 100% congruent, maybe, based off of, or even the driver of, or all three. These weird tactics and MOs and way of carrying yourself, things like building you up to knock you down, things like deflection, redirection, stuff that like everybody uses, but it's just their way. It's the kind of political correct kind of, progressive kind of so-called liberal kind of way. Hitting Yavin base at T0, it's a very strong concept, massively strong concept. I love how strong that concept. I never would have even thought of that. It's very exciting. What I'll end up doing is rallying the troops. It will end up rallying the troops. And that's probably, like, they didn't have anything to do. When they finished up with The Last Jedi, everybody was fucking wrecked. Everybody. If you weren't dead, you were wrecked. You were lost. You were emasculated. You were fucking whatever the female version of emasculated is. Masculated. You were like, Rey was like, okay, we're leaving. Fucking everybody on the Falcon, we're out of here. Kylo's like, what the fuck is this? Dice. Gold dice. Are you going now? And Rey's like, we're gone. Fucker. And Kylo's like, alright, so like fucking 10-second head start and then I suppose I'll fucking chase you. Where are you going? No idea. How many more movies do we have to do? We've one more movie to do. Alright, 10, 9, 8, and fucking Rey scarpered off and the Millennium Falcon went. That was basically it. So, what are they going to do for episode 9? Was this a setup or was it not? Or are they just flying, or are they just going with the flow? Probably the same thing. Probably more likely going with the flow because from my experience, that's how you get the highest level of coherence and rigor in a thought process, a design process. When you do things right, but you go with the flow. Engage over manipulate. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're like fucking, they're the best in the business or whatever the fuck they do. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They understand that going with the flow is the way to go. And definitely with all the fucking press releases, I mean that all this and fucking leaking material here and there, it really says to me like this is full, that the MO of going with the flow is in full effect. It's how they gather information. It's how they course correct. It's kind of like how Trump does it. It's a populist kind of a thing. Basically, it's populism. But they went in for the wrong fucking crew. Populism in Star Wars, they went for the so-called liberals instead of the so-called conservatives. Wrong crew. You went for the wrong customer base. Now, 20-second meditation. I'm getting all worked up. Okay, so whether this proposed attack on Yavin 4, Yavin base, Yavin 4, is it Yavin 4? Is in the interest of good story, or whether it's in the interest of the wider mission, which is to fucking own, control, break down and remold in your image the entire franchise. Because let's not forget, the franchise has leverage in the real world, all the way from the top of business, corporate, political, to the streets. It's like a line. It's like that fucking trench, that chute, or whatever the fucking exhaust chamber that Luke shot his fucking torpedoes down that blew up the Death Star. Star Wars is like a chute, or exhaust chute, exhaust plume. Oh Jesus, an exhaust chute that goes all the way from the ground, from the street, into space. It vents into space. It's big enough to be significant in that it has leverage at the highest levels, political levels, and it's big enough that it has even more leverage on the ground, on the street, in people's fucking, in dingy fucking basement flats where people's lives are mundane as shit. Like, just that move, just the music will keep you afloat. The little fucking toys, the little action figures. You want to be blind not to see the leverage that Star Wars has. And you'd want to be lazy to think that nobody's going to try and use that. Just because you don't want to use it, just because you're not thinking that way, doesn't mean that somebody else who actually has access to the levers and the buttons won't use this massive machine. It is the Death Star. Star Wars is the Death Star. It has huge capacity, but it has to be armed. And, you know, that's maybe what they're doing. Again, intentional or not, you know, fucking who knows, who cares. That maybe they might be inadvertently arming it, like the way the fucking Homer Simpson might, like, you know, fucking drop his donut and lean over and hit his head off the big red self-destruct button or whatever. You know, that fucking, it could be something like that. Anyway, so whether it's in the interest of movie, going on the movie, like this is the event that's going to fucking get everybody's attention. You're coming to see this movie because we're attacking. We intend to destroy Yavin Base. Now, did we destroy it or didn't we? Was it saved last minute? Again, bollocks! Damn it! Are they? Darth Vader? It wasn't even Vader. It was just the fucking whoever, the Empire in general. In Episode 4 was like, we're gonna blow up Yavin Base. Fuck you, we're blowing up Yavin Base. And now, that was the first movie. This is the last movie. Bookend. What's your big fucking, what's your big idea to save the trilogy series? Trilogy of trilogies. JJKK. We're gonna blow up Yavin 4. You're gonna blow up Yavin Base. Oh, that's clever. So you're gonna do as your Omega, what was done as the Alpha. Aren't we so fucking genius? We're bookending with another attack on Yavin. It's like, that's not genius. That's the laziest fucking genius I've ever fucking... If you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to... Actually, the genius is gonna have to be the detail. And you probably understand that. I think JJ understands that. If you're gonna fucking... Damn it, I didn't even spot that. They're just doing, again, what the fucking they did to start with. Just like fucking The Force Awakens ripped off A New Hope. I didn't even know. Because it's been so long since I seen A New Hope. I didn't even know. So, like my granddad with a fucking spit jar. So, in the interest of the story, they're going back to Yavin 4. No, that's weak. That's weak. Now that I just fucking think about it. Because it was done already. It could be good. It's like, we're coming back. Oh yeah, Kylo, coming back now to destroy this base. Do something my granddad could never do. Alright, that's the kind of fucking... I see, but like, why? Like, what the fuck? I don't think you win a campaign. I don't think the First Order can win where the Empire didn't win. By trying to blow up a base it tried to blow up 40 years ago. That doesn't have the impact. You have to impact people's minds. Otherwise they won't go with you. Otherwise it's trying to get like your cat to do a trick. You know, in somebody else's company. They're just not going to happen. It's just going to escalate and escalate until you end up fucking like stabbing the cat or something and getting a few scratches in the face. And then when all is done, the fucking guest leaves, or maybe calls the guards on the way out. You're left there with a fucking dead cat or dying cat and scratches on your nose. And it's like, yeah, this is diminishing marginal returns. This is diminished marginal returns. This is not the way it was supposed to go. That's what happens if you don't have people's minds. That's why propaganda in war. That's why subversion. That's why infiltration. You're not getting our hearts and minds, you. Right. So I don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's a legit move in a military sense. Kylo. Maybe if Kylo's a bit of a fucking millennial dip. He might think, this is a good move. Okay, this is going to be your downfall. And maybe that'll foreshadow fucking what happens actually to Disney for trying to do this. Not a good move. Now, if it's done fucking cleverly, if it's done geniusly, it could be the draw. But see, the thing is you need this in the trailer. This attack on Yavin 4 has to be in the trailer and before the trailer, because we're not going to go see the movie to see this. There has to be an enticement. And it can't be like, a build up to an attack on Yavin base and it's like, will they destroy it, won't they destroy it? And don't even think about fucking trying to sweeten the deal by putting Leia in the base. Because Leia's dead. When she got sucked out into the vacuum of the hard vacuum of space in The Last Jedi, you lost 51%. You lost what you needed to keep this aggregated. You lost. It's like cyanide. It only takes a microgram to knock a fucking 180 kilogram person. It's non-linear. You lost what you needed in order to sustain what you were trying to sustain. When you flew Carrie Fisher, because was it even Princess Leia? Who was it? Was it Leia? Was it Carrie? When you flew that person back into the fucking bridge of the ship, opened the fucking doors, and nobody got sucked out into space. I mean, blah, 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 physics, blah, 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 suspension, yeah, whatever. Qualitatively, you lost it. You fucking lost it right there. If you don't understand that, keep going, you're going to lose it again. So, she's not going to entice. Do whatever you want. Put them all into a fucking... I mean, you did that in the last movie. You put all the resistance, the remnants, apart from Luke and Rey, who was, on her way. Luke was there anyway, like fucking... escaped from LA to fucking Salt Planet. You already put them all in a base and then hit the fucking pounded the base. You can't do that again. That's not going to have the impact. Now, they could know this shit, and they could be maneuvering themselves in the interstitial spaces between these, and that's cool. Like, that could be fucking cool. However, you zoom out a bit to the very real fucking fact that you're attacking the core of the Star Wars timeline. And if it was anybody else, they might have the stored up goodwill for people to say, we'll see what happens here. You don't have the goodwill. People are overly suspicious of you. You cannot win anything you do now. There's going to be people that are going to be fucking dissecting everything you do and say from every angle. And you don't have the benefit of the doubt. You don't. And I'm not even a fucking fan. I'm just kind of like peripherally interested. Peripherally interested. Uh, Tuesday morning rainy rant. Yeah, so do this. Attack the 0 point of the Star Wars timeline. See where it gets you. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to work. Because we're on to you. It does. Here's the thing. The only thing, unless they pull it off. Unlike, I mean, who knows? Like there could be, but we'll be watching. And you can only pull it off if you entice us before the trailer. You can only pull this off if you entice us before the trailer. So we need material. You have to leak material to us before the trailer. So we'll be watching. And we'll be picking this apart. And we'll be fucking analyzing and aggregating it. We're coming up with our own fucking batshit theories about it. And you are not in control of the narrative. All it takes is for one little idea to catch that, like, this is all about chickens. And we're all going to be like, this is all about chickens. And you'll be like, what the fuck, chickens? And nobody's going to go see your movie because the meme will have gotten out there. The Last Jedi or the fucking episode 9 Trixie is about chickens. You can't control this shit. That's what the internet is. It's a grounding term and a waveguide for the understanding that you cannot control the narrative. Memetics are autonomous. Memes are autonomous. So that'll be fun. But I'm just gonna wrap up with this. I did have more to say, but I'm fucking going around in circles. There's one last thing, and I said it at the start. An attack on the ground zero, on the 0 point of the Star Wars timeline is probably the biggest thing you could do, left to do. You've done everything else. Bringing Carrie back is, from my perspective, a further attack on her and everything about her, rather than, you know, some way to be nice to her or fucking respectful. I saw the interview, Kathleen Kennedy, when you called her brother Todd confused. That's not going to end well, or age well. That's not going to age well. You don't have the fucking skills. You don't have the social skills to fucking to interact. And I know this because I don't have the social skills to interact either. So like, Adi and Kiro Gela. One socially inept fucking voodoo frog recognizes another. So this is the big move. Destroy, hit the 0 time 0, T0. Hit the 0 point of the Star Wars timeline. What else have you got left to do? I mean, you have to pull out all the fucking stops for this. The only danger is there's a very real chance you'll destroy everything. You'll destroy everything. If that's your objective, well then good, do it. It would make all the sense in the world. Imminent sense. But if your attempt is not to destroy everything, we have to see your tactics and your strategy. Maybe we can fucking help you. Because you're playing with fucking dynamite. You cut the wrong wire, cut the blue wire, boom. Cut the red wire, whew. Whereas I'm not like actively engaged, I'm not targeting, like I'm not red alert, I'm on amber alert, yellow alert, I'm on yellow alert about this, because I do not for a second think that you're not up to this, that you're not trying to detonate a device at T0 in the Star Wars universe. I think the pettiness, the vindictiveness, and the pressure from having backed yourself into a corner, from suffered serious losses over the last 8-9 months, is what drives. Not only is it enough to drive people to do this kind of shit, it is what drives people. What else does drive people? It's rapid de-escalation, it's rapid escalation, rapid degradation. When the shit goes downhill fast, falls off a cliff, that's when these weird things happen. That's when people make these fucking, they go over the top. I do it myself. Everybody does it. Well, maybe not everybody, I don't know. But like, everybody who does it, I think, doesn't mean to do it. It just, all the pressure from your previous bad fucking decisions builds up and induces a cascade, and you've no choice. And your emotional fucking body is in play, and you're like, fuck these guys, and we're gonna do this, and fucking blah blah blah, whatever. So not for a second would I entertain the idea that no, they're not, they wouldn't do that. They're not after that. They're not trying to fucking create a fucking temporal implosion at the fucking heart of the Star Wars timeline. From episode 9 to episode 1, the first episode. Do what the Death Star never did. If the Death Star had been successful, there would have been no second movie. There would have been no Star Wars. Star Wars would have been one movie long if the Death Star. And I wouldn't put it past these fuckers, current Lino, to actually think that we win if we blow up the Death Star. Like Lucas was like, no, you don't blow up. Blow up the Death Star, blow up the Yavin base. Lucas said, no, you blow up the Death Star, not Yavin base. Blow up the Yavin base, there's no movie number 2. You've killed it. I don't think that the people in Lino maybe think that way. I think they think, no, you do what you want to do, and then you win. Blow up Yavin 4, blow up Yavin base, and you win. We're in charge. This is our story. It's a strong storyline. They've already shown indications that this is the way they think. When they killed off fucking Harrison Ford, killed off Solo, they killed off Skywalker. They rendered undead Leia, Organa. They're like, what are they doing now? Like, what's beyond undead? Like, perpetually undead. They're trying to reanimate Leia. So, like, indications are, looking at it one way, that this is the way these people think. They tried to, like, let the past die, kill it if you have to. Didn't work. Their fucking bottom line died. Now they're trying to bring them back. Are you going to try and do that again with Yavin base? Do what you tried to do with fucking with the OG characters? I think there's a decent chance. I think there's a 51% chance they think this way. They think this is good, rather than thinking the way Lucas thought, which was, you'll sustain a fucking trilogy. You'll get a trilogy. You might even get 9 movies out of this if you don't blow up Yavin base in the first movie. So whether it's stupidity, whether it's their integrity, but on a line of logic that just doesn't work, or whether it's bad-mindedness, or whether it's a combination of all 2 of the 3 or all 3, I don't know. But like the Death Star is moving into position. It is coming around to line of sight with Yavin base. Whether like it's on autopilot, whether it's drifting, whether there's a 4-year-old like one of the fucking bridge commanders like nephews or something is fucking with the controls. It doesn't matter. But the Death Star is coming around into line of sight with Yavin base. Current projections are December 2019. They will be in range. The Death Star will be in range. You can do some initial communication, like you can fucking ping them. You can send out you can hail them or whatever you want to call it and say, Death Star, this is Yavin base. We noticed your trajectory will have you in line of sight with us within the next 18 months. Please advise us to your intentions. Over. You can do that for a while. Until eventually you have to go, do you know what? They're not fucking, I don't really understand their intent. From their answers, or they're not answering, or their answers are gibberish. Shields up, fucking get the fighters on 15-minute alert. We don't know their intent yet. We don't know if this is like their behavior is a little odd. We don't know if they're just drifting. Do you need assistance, Death Star? Are you adrift? Are you still under your own steam? Until someone goes, sir, they've powered up their main weapons, and it's like, fuck. You want the fucking fighters in the air before they power up their main weapon. And they did. Those X-Wings made the fucking run before the cannon or whatever the fuck it was in Death Star was charged and fired. They had to. So, that's that. I'm 51% that this is intentional. But I'm 49% that this is... Okay, sorry. I'm 51% that this is intentional with venom, animosity. What's the word? Bad-mindedness. I'm 49% this is intentional with hopes and doggedness that what they're doing will work. We'll leave it at that. But that 2% is the world. That 2% is the world.